from Royal Communications Incorporated. A pleasant good morning. Welcome to the weekend edition of October 24, 2025 edition of King's Newsroom, 45 minutes of news from Liberia and the rest of our own world. Story topping the headlines this morning: President Joseph Boakai calls for abolition of female genital mutilation and other harmful traditional practices, presents a bill to the House of Representatives to pass into law. Former House Speaker Councilor Fadati Kofai formally requests establishment of US 25 million United States dollars social safety net fund, says is meant to assist vulnerable citizens meet educational and housing requirements. Civil law court issues temporary injunctions and suspend Federation of Liberian Youth ongoing electoral activities over complaints of constitutional violation. Away from Liberia, Ghana former First Lady Nana Konadu Rawlings has died at the age of 76. Nigerian separatist leader Namdi Kanu has sacked the lawyers representing him at his trial and announced he will be representing himself from now on. The news bulletin, Voices of the Newsmakers, are all packaged in this edition of the program. My name is Cornelius Johnson Angering. We take a very short break to be right back. President Joseph Boakai has presented to the House of Representatives a bill to ban harmful traditional practices in Liberia. The bill, titled An Act to Ban Harmful Cultural Practices in Liberia, was submitted to the House plenary by the Liberian leader on Thursday during the fourth sitting of the third quarter of the second section of the 55th legislature. The proposed laws, which intends to halt the use of adverse traditional practices in Liberia, was introduced in the House of Representatives following its submission by the President. The House of Representatives Press Bureau indicated that the President's communication highlighted the bill arises from the government national obligation to protect the dignity, rights, and health of all Liberians. The proposed laws also seek to protect women and children who remain vulnerable to practices that have long undermined their well-being, including female genital mutilation. Following President Joseph Boakai's submission of a bill to ban harmful traditional practices in Liberia to the House of Representatives, Bon County District 6 Representative Boyman Briggs Mensah has welcomed the decision. Boyman Briggs Mensah said, as chair on the House Committee on Gender, Women and Children Protection, she will ensure the bill is passed into law by collaborating with members of the House. The act is supported by the African Union Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls and Concession and Access Agreement. At the same time, the plenary of the House of Representatives has mandated its committees on investment and concession transport and judiciary to scrutinize the concession and access agreement submitted by the President on Thursday. Following the reading and debate on the instrument, the committee of the House was requested to advise the full body within 2 weeks. The decision was reached by plenary Thursday after receiving for ratification a concession agreement to develop and modernize Liberia's rail and port infrastructure. The agreement, titled the Concession and Asset Agreement, was signed between the government of Liberia and Avanho Liberia Limited on July 5, 2025, and submitted to the House of Representatives on Thursday, October 23, by the President. Press Bureau of the House of Representatives noted that the 25 years CAA establishes a legal framework to enable the transport of Guinea ore through Liberian railroads and port based upon requisite bilateral agreements or arrangements with the Republic of Guinea. According to the lower house, legislative approval for the CAA is expected to open Liberia's shared multi-industry use and create pathway for the inclusive growth and national revenue expansion. Following the reading and debate on the instrument, plenary mandated the committees on investment and concession, transport, and judiciary to scrutinize and advise the full body within 2 weeks. Former House Speaker Councillor Fonati Kofa has written the plenary of the House of Representatives requesting the establishment of a US 25 million social safety net fund. In their communication, the Grand Crew County District 2 lawmaker indicated that the social safety net fund is aimed at assisting vulnerable Liberians in paying school fees and rent. He noted that as a means of funding the safety net is to limit vehicle purchases for government officials, redirect funds from the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, and borrow from the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. Prior to writing the House, Representative Kofa posted on his official Facebook that's outlining pressing economic hardships faced by Liberians and call for urgent interventions from government in the face of these hardships. The former speaker's communication also referenced social safety programs in the United States, such as food stamps, as examples of how governments can provide relief to struggling citizens. Providing recommendation for financing of the proposed programs, Kofa suggested relocating resources by cutting benefits, reducing government's official foreign travels. He emphasized the need for urgent action, noting that ordinary Liberians are restless and crying for relief. Following agitations surrounding the Federation of Liberian Youth's upcoming election, the Civil Law Court at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia has issued a writ of preliminary injunction ordering FLY and the Ministry of Youth and Sports to immediately suspend all ongoing electoral activities. The writ, signed by Clerk Victor Gillo under the authority of J. Boyman Konto, resident judge of the 6th Judicial Circuit Court for Montserrat County, was issued Wednesday, October 22. Recently, the United Youth for Development Services, through its president, Fanning Hilton, along with provisional presidential candidates Samuel James Quator and Madeline Boley, filed a writ of preliminary injunction. The petitioners accused the Federation of Liberian Youth, its Independent National Elections Committee, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports of conducting the FLY elections in violation of the organization's constitution. According to the court's document, the petitioners are claiming that the ongoing verification, accreditation, and electoral processes violate Articles 6, 11, and 18 of the FLY's constitution. In the petition, the United Youth for Development Services prayed the court to restrain and prohibit the respondents from announcing any electoral timetable or proceeding with any election-related activity pending the hearing and determination of the case. Judge Conto has ordered that all respondents file their resistance to the petition on or before November 1, warning that failure to do so could result in a permanent injunction. Principal of the Saleh Tobago Elementary School or public school in Electoral District Grand Crew County is calling on the national government through the Ministry of Education to urgently provide school supplies and renovate damaged structures to ensure the safety of students. Madam Betty Williams, who has been serving as principal at the institution since 2017, disclosed that over 200 students are currently sitting on floors due to lack of chairs and desks in classrooms. She describes the condition as unacceptable and unsafe for school-going children. Madam Williams also lamented the loss of key facilities, including latrines, sitting benches, and the school's fence, which she said previously helped to protect students during regular school hours. She further expressed disappointment in community residents who are reportedly using the school's latrine, blaming the situation on the absence of a fence that once secured the campus. Despite many challenges, Principal Williams reaffirmed her commitment to improving the learning environment and called on the Ministry of Education to act swiftly to restore dignity and safety to the school. Grand County Senator Zoe Manuel Penon has commended the Unity Party-led government for what he called payment of over 200,000 United States dollars to the Grand Jide Community College. Senator Pennell also claimed that during the administration of former President George Weah, only 35,000 United States dollars was given to the college, something he said put the institution in bad record with its debtors. The Grand Jide County Senator, who spoke to reporters at his Capitol building office Wednesday, argued that during the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, utmost all the clinic were given ambulances and provided petroleum regularly, noting everything came to a standstill on the Weah-led government. According to Senator Pennell, the people of Grand Jide County will not be reservist voters. He also claimed he became representatives and then senators who has always worked for his people to vote for the CDC, but did never benefited from the region in terms of development. More than 7 persons have reportedly died following a fatal motor accident on the Banga to Monrovia Highway. The tragic accident occurred Wednesday between the Thomas Farm and SKD areas. Reports indicate that the black Tesla traveling from Banga towards Monrovia attempted to overtake another vehicle when one of its tires burst, resulting in collision with a white pickup truck. Those reported dead on the accident scene included a baby and 3 others. However, the Wednesday's accident toll has increased to more than 7, including the driver of one of the vehicles, including or involved in the incident or the collision. In a video posted on Facebook, Samuel Palo, director of communications at the Phoebe Hospital, disclosed that several victims are in critical condition who have been transferred to the GFK Medical Center in Monrovia for advanced treatment. He said the update was provided from the Phoebe Hospital emergency room, where many of the persons are injured and were initially taken for medical care. The Liberia National Police is said to have launched an investigation into the cause of the accident. 2 individuals believed to be disadvantaged youths have reportedly been found dead in a rubber bush in Davidstown, Cocoa Statutory District, Bon County. According to reports, they died as a result of consuming narcotic substances. Speaking at the scene, the town chief of Davidstown, Sam Boeman, expressed deep frustration over the incident and called for urgent deployment of the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency's officers to help combat the rising drug abuse in the area. Chief Boeman alleged that the current LDA officers assigned to the region have overstayed and are no longer effective in addressing drug-related activities. He emphasized that many instances, drug traffickers are arrested but later released without proper prosecution, a situation he describes a way of weakening the community's effort to fight the drug crisis. Davidstown is a gold mining community that hosts dozens of illicit miners from across the country, a situation residents believe is contributing to the growing drug problem. The woman who reportedly gave birth for Pastor Jenkins Johnson of the World Changers Deliverance Ministry Church situated on the GSA Road has informed Criminal Court A that her infant child has passed away. Madam Musu Kwei's account to the court, according to RCR judicial correspondent, comes when her husband, Michael Kwei, has questioned the truthfulness of the pregnancy and is seeking for a DNA on grounds that his wife, Musu Kwei, got impregnated by Pastor Jenkins Johnson. Why? Offering deliverance on her. Madam Musu Kwei informed the court on Tuesday, October 21, about her child's death when she came along with her 14-year-old son that her husband claimed was kidnapped by the pastor and her. Our judicial correspondent said in the wake of Madam Musu's information, lawyers representing her husband have filed a 2-count bill of information before Criminal Court A, claiming that his wife has failed to honor a request from the court regarding their 14-year-old child schooling. Our judicial correspondent said George Roosevelt Willie has assigned the matter for hearing on Monday, October 27, before making a decision into the matter. The Royal Human Rights Activist Program has made a 10-count recommendation aimed at improving the justice system, the rule of law, and respects and respects rights of people detained and imprisoned throughout the country. The program executive director, Loma Beside, among other things, recommended that the human rights community engage the national legislature for the passage of a bill seeking to make Bureau of Correction and Rehabilitation an autonomous agency in order to reduce the burden on the Ministry of Justice. Addressing a press conference on the release of a policy paper on Liberia's justice system, Besa suggested that the Liberian government gives priority to the renovation of prison facilities and the construction of a Chisholm-Brooks prison to host a huge number of inmates at the Monrovia Central Prison and other prisons in the country. He also recommended that the Liberia National Police, the Judiciary, and the Ministry of Justice should immediately begin seeking solutions to problems of overcrowdedness and the deplorable and dehumanizing conditions at the prison facilities over or in the country. The Rural Human Rights Activist Programs also suggested that the National Security Agency should be made to open its detention facilities to be monitored by human rights communities as it is or as it was done in prisons or detention facilities operated by the Liberia National Police, the Liberia Immigration Service, and the Armed Forces of Liberia. And commercial flights between Monrovia and Istanbul are expected to resume following conclusion of discussion held by a high-level delegation from the Turkish Airlines. The Turkish Airlines delegation currently in Liberia met with senior officials of the Liberia Airport Authority. Members of the Turkish delegation include Mohammed Dos, specialist in the risk assessment and investigation detectory, Ahmed Yuzulu, station manager, and the specialists. According to report, the engagement focused on assessing operational readiness, safety protocols, and infrastructure standards at the Rabat International Airport, which is currently undergoing a certification process. The visit formed part of Turkish Airlines' routine due diligence before launching or resuming service in any new market. The Liberia Airport Authority Managing Director for Operations, Agun Koa, disclosed that the Turkish Airlines intends to begin operations with twice weekly flights routed through Accra, Ghana, before transitioning to a direct Monrovia-Istanbul flight within the next 3 months. He added that Turkish Airlines previously expressed interest in the Liberian market and conducted an initial assessment at the Rabat International Airport before, or about 4 years ago, noting that the planes were halted after Liberia failed an international civil aviation organization safety audit, which highlighted critical deficiencies in airport safety standards at the time. The news bulletin will take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the voices of the newsmakers. Indeed, if you just join us, a reminder you are in tune to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes of news from Liberia and the rest of our one word. Today is Friday, October 24, 2025. My name is Cornelius Johnson, presenting this weekend edition of the program. One of our top stories this morning: President Joseph Boakai calls for abolition of female genital mutilation and other harmful traditional practices, presents a bill to the House of Representatives to pass into law. Let's now bring you voices of the newsmakers. Today's development now, principal of the Sally Tobabu Elementary School, the public school in Electoral District Number 2, Grand Crew County, is calling on the national government through the Ministry of Education to urgently provide school supplies and renovate damaged structures to ensure the safety of students. Madam Betty Williams, who has been serving as principal at the institution since 2017, disclosed that over 200 students are currently sitting on floors due to the lack of chairs and desks in classrooms. She describes the condition as unacceptable and unsafe for school-going children.
And with students and all working together, and one of the challenges that we're facing here, we lack of chairs, and also I want to put schools into the things. I want having in things. I already proposed to our boss, which is DO, attending to the desk issue for the students, and that of the latrine, to already get a latrine and construct new latrine for the primary. While the ECE using the old latrine, the primary will be using the new latrine, and already proposed, and they're about to okay if I have to start my project. I've been here since 2017. There student currently there are 200 students that are facing a problem. Yes, because the reason of which they're using now the campus is not in the fence. Once the campus in the fence, the community will not have power to come in. There is a plan now. I got one man to fence the area, and the fencing there I will do it in a local way. And my local Malay state to try to fence the area in the meantime before talking about concrete bricks or before talking about wire. I have a plan to add to the building, to construct new building, to add extra classroom.
She's the principal of the Saleh Tobabu Elementary School, the public school in Electoral District Number 2, Grand Crew County. They are calling on the national government through the Ministry of Education to urgently provide school supplies and renovate damaged structures to ensure the safety of students. She's Madam Betty Williams there speaking. Grand County Senator Zoe Emmanuel Peno has commended the Unity Party-led government over what he called payment of over 200,000 United States dollars to the Grand Community College. Senator Peno also claimed that during the administration of former President George Weah, only 35,000 United States dollars was given to the college, something he said put the institution in bad record with its debtors. The Grand County Senator, who spoke to reporters at his Capitol building office, argued that during the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, utmost all the clinic were given ambulances and provided petroleum regularly, noting everything came to a standstill on the Weah-led government.
To be frank with you, this government, I never voted President Bouaka, so the truth will always be said. But we believe very strongly, almost all infrastructure development in my county was done, is carried on by Unity Party. I will give you a common example. During former President Sirleaf administration that we never voted, she gave Grand Community College. She gave Grand Mayweather School. She gave us electricity, the West African Power Pool for Agricos. She was cut off Grand but they believe in development. Every major infrastructure development I see in Grand today, the project was undertaken by former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Almost the major clinics in Grand County at the time had ambulances. The community college was fully sponsored by Education Ministry. After President Sirleaf left, those things cut off in my county. Our community college went down the drain. Despite we passed the bill for free education, the money entitled to those community colleges in Liberia, but Grand Community College, that young men suffer in our college. The highest that Grand Community College received, 30 to 35,000 in 6 years, from 2018 to 2023. Just 2 weeks ago, all vendors for the community college are supplying the community college, including the free education, amount that need to be paid to our community college. This government paid closer to almost 200,000 United States dollars. So we shouldn't praise the people. I'm a politician. I came to this government for development to go back to my county. So whosoever that will help my people, you'll be praised. If President Baga is not doing the right thing, they're saying more than saying that I'll come and tell the Liberal people and tell the Nigerians. But they took our people to be reserve voters, so they never gave up political ears. And we are being blamed in the process. So now, other people that will never voted, and they give you political ears, and we are getting those things, so it need to be aired out. I'm serving as a political bridge for my county and from my county and the government. So any good thing the government will do for my people, definitely will be. In the first place, let me tell you, roads bring development.
He's the senator of Grand Jide County, Zone Emmanuel Penonde, speaking at his Capitol building office. More than 7 persons have reportedly died following a fire-tired motor accident on the Banga to Monrovia Highway. The tragic motor accident on Wednesday occurred between the Thomas Farms and the SKD areas. Reports indicate that a black taxi traveling from Banga towards Monrovia attempted to overtake another vehicle when one of its tires burst, resulting in a collision with a white pickup truck. Those reported deaths on the accident included a baby and 3 others. However, the Wednesday's accident toll has increased to more than 7, including the driver of one of the vehicles involved in the collision. In a video posted on Facebook, Samuel Paru, Director of Communications at the Phoebe Hospital, disclosed that several victims who are in critical conditions have been transferred to the GFK Medical Center in Monrovia for advanced treatment.
Yesterday, there was an accident made by this white pickup in that black taxi, where the taxi is like passenger car. The passenger car was coming along people while there was an accident. About 6 person died. 7 person died yesterday. This is the site where people die. These are the blood of human. Human blood are wasting and making. You can see when they change the photo color. You know, I think their car was damaged from the passenger side. After the, oh my goodness. You can see this car was damaged right here, and oh my goodness. Oh, passenger side was damaged. Driver, oh my goodness, it says 7 person died. But somebody, I know that somebody was in the trunk. Somebody was in the trunk. Yeah, someone was in the trunk. That person was, I think that son was safe. Son was safe. The person that was in the trunk, that person was safe. That person was safe. Thank God. I'm on. But how can 8 person enter in one taxi for driving the highway?
Is it possible? Is it possible?
No, it happened.
If two are to the front,
died here. And 2 person died here. And 1 person was in the trunk. I mean, there was 8 persons.
You better make it saying at the debate.
Oh my goodness, 7 persons died. Today, including the day. This is the site. As you see me, I'm going on the highway. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the situation. My advice to all Liberians: when you are driving a taxi, always talk in the double ears. Be careful and mindful. Yeah. And you also overtaking a taxi, you must be careful and be mindful while you are overtaking. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, brother.
He's the Director of Communications at the Phoebe Hospital, Samuel Pawu. They're disclosing that several victims were involved in a fatal motor accident who were in critical condition have been transferred to the GFK Medical Center in Monrovia for advanced treatment. Following President Joseph Boaka's submission of a bill to ban harmful traditional practices in Liberia to the House of Representatives, Broom County District 6 Representative Muhammad Briggs Mensah has welcomed the decision. Muhammad Briggs Mensah said as chair on the House Committee on Gender, Women and Children Protection, she will ensure the bill is passed into law by collaborating with members of the House.
And in the process, we see the president sending that bill to us, having the political will for the president. A president of the Republic of Liberia will do that. So now he's walking the talk because he said it to the Greater Political Forum, which is the UNGA, and then he made sure to do this. It's a welcome step, and we want to assure the Liberian women and girls that I think time has come for us to show them and prove to them that harmful practices in our society must come to an end. So we welcome the president's step as chair on gender, the great advocate of the eradication of harmful practices in our society. And as committees, we promise our colleagues that we're going to do the proper thing and we're going to do the most needful things for our citizens for the right thing to be done. We know all of our colleagues are inclined, but again, it comes with a lot of other processes. Police have to go in the various districts. If I say I'm in favor of it, police also have to also take this in the places to be sure that, especially the counties that are huge in practice in these processes. So we look forward to all of the steps that will guide this process, that we all will be involved. The press will be always in the know of our process, and we all will be part of the process of making. But we welcome the president submission, and we look forward to doing a good job for the Liberian people and making sure that the proper thing is done.
She's Bon County District Number 6 Representative Muhammad Briggs Mensa. They're speaking. Two individuals believed to be disadvantaged youth have reportedly been found dead in a rubber bush in David Deanstown, Kokoya Statutory District, Bon County. According to reports, they died as a result of consuming narcotic substances. Speaking at the scene, the township of David Deanstown, Sam Boyman, expressed deep frustration over the incident and called for urgent deployment of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency officers to help combat the rising drug abuse in the area.
So we're calling on our government to come in forcefully for at least for the citizens to join them to fight the drugs. Because our children finish it. So I beg that is the message to go across that the DH will come from straight Monrovia to come join them for all to fight the drugs. Because when we send the same old man bigger in different suit here, it will now the people will not move. The other DA that already assigned here, they are still on here. So they will say we're using them to fight the drugs, then we will not work. Nothing. From today, I'm calling on the national government to send out the different troops that now even been here before, then that the citizens will join them to fight the battle. We've been fighting the battle through those that can assign here. When we carry them to some area, then to what men get the base, they will have to arrest those men. When they carry them, they will not buy our the men will come back to the same area. They'll bring all the business to the same area. I'm saying it as a township. Okay. I think more people here can attest to it. We have on the base, set all the time. While the people start dying from. Okay. And some of them here, even they have susu with the people, the drug they still going on. And they water they live yet. So that's my reason of me saying we need a new people what never entered here before when the kind of station we show them to fight them. Dinton yesterday, they're not Dinton today. Dinton yesterday when we were here, when police station was not built yet, that traditional were controlling the town. Okay. Other the company were not basing yet. But for now, Dinton are gone worldwide. Government already built structure here with a police barrack. So they don't want the traditional control the town now. Okay. That's why we say we want for the central government to come in with a reinforcement. The citizens will join them to fight the battle.
He's the township of David Deanstown, Sam Boyman, there expressing deep frustration over the incident of two individuals believed to be disadvantaged youth who have reportedly been found dead in a rubber bush of Kokoya Statutory District, Bon County. David Deanstown is a gold mining community that hosts dozens of illicit miners from across the country, a situation residents believe is contributing to the growing drug problem in the area. Today's development now, the Royal Human Rights Activist Program has made a 10-count recommendation aimed at improving the justice system, the rule of law, and respect rights of people detained and imprisoned throughout the country. The program executive director, Loman Besa, among other things, recommend that the human rights community engage the national legislature for the passage of a bill seeking to make Bureau of Correction and Rehabilitation an autonomous agency in order to reduce the burden on the Ministry of Justice. Addressing a press conference on the release of a policy paper on the Liberia's justice system, Besa suggested that the Liberian government gives priority to the renovation of prison facilities and the construction of a Chieftainburg prison to host a huge number of inmates at the Monrovia Central Prisons and other prisons in the country.
It is urgent that CSO actors, the Independent National Commission, engage the national legislature for the passage of a bill that seeks to make the BCR autonomous. So the allotment of the budget to this particular sector of government is very low. They are raiding the different ghettos, which is good. They are combating drugs. But they are taking it to the prison, and the prison is already challenged. And then with the low budgetary allotment to the Minister of Justice, makes it very difficult for them. Country will say, based on current situation, the government should urgently prioritize the renovation and the construction of prison facilities across the country. We need to make sure that our prisons are good, so that those who break the law will have their time served within the prison. The next one is the slow adjudication of cases. It's key. It's one of the contributing factors to prison work readiness. You should try to fast track, making sure that cases on the court docket are adjudicated timely. Conform in line with the compiled declaration of prison condition in Africa, but the police, the prosecuting authorities, and the judiciary should be aware of the problem caused by prison work crowding and should join the prison administration in seeking solutions to reduce prison overcrowding. Judicial investigation and proceeding should ensure that prisons are kept in remand detention for the shortest possible period, avoiding continual remand in custody by court. The next one says there should be a system for regular review of time detainees spend in prison. In Liberia, there should be coordination, making sure visiting the prison by the authorities who are involved to know or to determine how long this person stay in prison without going to court, so that you can then infringe on the fundamental rights of the people. But we're interested to know that there are people in the prisons spend 5 years plus in the prison who are going to court on pre-trial, and that's a blatant violation of the Constitution and the penal code as well. So we are saying that the judiciary should work together with the Ministry of Justice, making sure that all of the applications on our rule of law is applied so that we can reduce our prison work requirements.
He's the executive director of the Royal Human Rights Activist Program, Loman Besa. They're recommending that the human rights community engage the national legislature for the passage of a bill seeking to make the Bureau of Correction and Rehabilitation an autonomous agency in order to reduce the burden on the Ministry of Justice. Of the home from now, Ghana's former First Lady, Nana Konadu Rawlings, has died at the age of 76. She was the widow of Ghana's longest serving leader, Jerry John Rawlings, who died 5 years ago. He led 2 coups before twice being elected president in multi-party polls. Social media is awash with tributes to the former First Lady, politician, and women rights advocate who Ghanaian presidential spokesperson Ofosu said has died after a short illness on Thursday morning. Her family visited President John Mahama in the afternoon to officially notify him of her death. The president leads the National Democratic Congress Party, funded by Jerry Rawlings, after he took power. The former First Lady has also been having the political ambitions, but lost out in her bid to become the NDC presidential candidate in 2012. And Nigerian separatist leaders has sacked his lawyers at the start of a defense in In court, Nigerian separatist leader Namdu Kanu has sacked the lawyers representing him at his trial and announced he will be representing himself. From now on, the 58-year-old opened his defense on Thursday when he argued that the court lacked the jurisdiction to try him, an argument rejected by the judge. Kanu, who hears the outlaws indigenous people of Biafra, denies charges of terrorism and incitement to violence. Igbo is seeking independence from what the group calls the Biafran nation in southeastern Nigeria. Barely 24 hours ago, Kanu listed some high-profile Nigerians as witnesses in his trial, including Abubakar Malami, who was Attorney General at the time of his arrest in 2021. Well, that's all the time we have for this early morning weekend edition of King's Newsroom. But just before we go, our stories we closely follow in the headlines. President Joseph Boakai calls for abolition of female genital mutilation and other harmful traditional practices, presents a bill to the House of Representatives to pass into law. Former House Speaker Councillor Fanati Kofar formally requests establishment of US 25 million social safety net funds, says is meant to assist vulnerable citizens meet education and housing requirements. Civil law courts issues temporary injunction and suspends Federation of Liberian Youth ongoing electoral activities over complaints of constitutional violation away from Liberia. Ghana's former First Lady Nana Konadu Rollins has died at the age of 76. Nigerian separatist leaders Nnamdi Kanu has sacked the lawyers representing him at his trial and announced he will be representing himself from now on. Many thanks to all of our contributors, editors, and reporters who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom our sources. For more news and information on this station, do join us at 1 p.m. or better still at 6 p.m. for a fresh presentation of King's Newsroom on behalf of the entire team. My name is Cornelius Johnson. I presented. Many thanks to all of you for listening and watching. Good morning.